What's up, you wiggly wagglers? I hope you had a great week so far and you're ready for some CAC content. I got some more cool, interesting hero guide stuff for you. And we're going to talk about Mutanus today, the wiggly murloc, and he is kind of a cool hero to play, playing a lot around efficiency. So I think what I want to do first is we talk a bit about what's good on the hero in general. And what we do then is we go into one of my games I played on ladder, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. So I'm just trying to keep this short so you get the most out of the video. So let's get it going. I will give you a quick curve guide, although I don't know how useful that really is. I'm trying to keep things very, very sharp. So on turn 1, you usually want to go for raw stat unit. The anomalies are great, or geomancers. You can even just put the gem on him already because you get the stats anyways. Or you get something going like Wrath Weaver. With this hero, really, you just want to go, I also write it below, you want to go for raw stats, you want to go for maybe good scaling units. There's like a Sorodisk who can be good, or the Weaver, the Wrath Weaver. And it very much depends also which tribes are in. So the curve here you can take as you want. It's just like a little bit of a guide. If you have specific questions, just ask them below. And it's just like the first turns. The reason why I didn't like writing down everything, even like in these first turns, it's just like there are so many different ways of playing this hero because you get this 1 gold extra. And it's just like, it's hard to generalize things. So I just give you like raw information which you can almost always apply. Try to play him when murlocs are banned. That's very nice because you tend to get super big units and you don't want to get poisoned down. There are some nice tribes for him, like Quillbars are super nice, elementals, demons because they are Wrath Weavers. It's just like Quillborn elemental units, they tend to have a lot of stats which you can eat in the early game, which brings you a lot of power. And yeah, Death Rattle units are less good since they tend to have less stats and you don't want to spit on Death Rattles. I wouldn't even bother too much about what tribes are in which you can spit on. It's more important what you can spit, because these are going to be your stats in the end. So I think we're just going to jump into one of my ladder games. It is... I think I was playing for rank 1 there. I had a crazy win streak. Give me a second. But here, I had a Mutanus game and I started. So I also talk about the tribes quickly which were in. So we had... Did I even show that? Yeah. So here we have Beasts in, Demons, Mechs, Pirate, and Quillbors. So usually when I just look at heroes, I think he is a very good hero. In this case, he's called Stonecrash because of the skin. So for me, it's very important that the murlocs are out. I want to have at least like 1 or 2 nice tribes. Usually there are 3 anyways, where you can spit on, like Beasts for Hydra, for example. Demons, they have Trickster. Or you can use the Wrath Weavers to scale early on. And then, yeah, mechs are always amazing for it. I just like Pirates and Quillbars also being in because there are nice raw stat units for them. So I tend to play this hero very defensive, or like, let's say, life preserving, because I just think as long I get my golden body and I can spit his stats on other units, it's pretty insane. I will try to keep this short and then I leave the questions to you guys. So here we have just turn 1. It's pretty obvious as well. Like a Wrath Weaver Trickster start is amazing. I am just buying the Wrath Weaver, freezing the Trickster. It's just like raw stats wise, that's super good. So everything I'm looking for is just get nice stat units. Try not to buy Death Rattles which don't give me scaling. Like obviously, like Trickster is a different kind of Death Rattle since he gives you actually health. So he's super valuable on this hero. And then we just go ahead. Here, very simple. You just buy that Trickster and maybe get the roll in for a demon. And you go on. On this hero also, I value units like Acolyte less. I just go ahead. Don't forget, it's also very nice to have Quillbores in, since the Quillbores give you the gems. And that's super, super valuable. Since the gems can be applied on every unit, Battleground tends to be kind of, let's say, tribe heavy when it comes to buffs, but Quillbores don't have that limitation. And stuff like Sunbake and Relaxer, or like if you get like a Gem Spitter game online, which you can just put on the body, gives you a lot more, or give you a lot more flexibility. So here, go ahead. I just try, obviously, to get as many stats from this Wrath Weaver and those demons as I can get. You will also see me eating, and that's very important, you will see me eating good spit targets, like units you can spit on, just to have more raw stats in total, because that is what matters, guys. Later on with the golden body or the normal body, you can just search for good spit units, but don't prioritize that. Just try to get as much out of your units, like as many stats out of your units as you can get. That is key. Don't bother too much about, oh, I want to really keep that trickster here, and so I can spit the stats on him. No. Make your Wrath Weavers big. Try to spit the stats at some point on your body, and then you go ham. And that's what I'm doing here. You just have like a double Wrath Weaver start with the demons. That's going to give you so many stats. And on this hero, it's even double as good, since you can always utilize those stats. You also see me freezing those gems there for the reasons I mentioned earlier. So we go ahead. I just keep high rolling since I'm the freaking best. We go ahead. I just buy the 2 demons. There's not much to say, guys. I could have as well bought the Geomancer here, sold it and eat. And then level. But I also value having a pair a little bit, or like 2 pairs in this case. But it's definitely a possibility. I would just try to play for board here a little bit. It's also nice that you in the beginning split your stats a little bit on different units. So you don't only have, you're not a 1 unit Andy. Splitting your stats usually gives you higher win rates in fights, since you don't suffer too much if a Divine Shield unit hits into them. So turn 5 is usually the 5 where you get your body and where things start getting interesting. So here you see a very normal curve. I just double level to 3. I eat the 2/2, I think. So we can keep the pair, and also it's more stats to eat. And then I go ahead. I also, I think Tavern 3, getting it here, like the Tavern jump, you always do that. And then you just keep buying demons. And you basically have to evaluate your strength. Obviously, you want to have the body on the board here first, since this is the unit where you want to have the stats on. And then I just keep leveling to 4, since on 4 there are very nice units for me to spit on, like Hydra, for example. Or you get modules there as well, and you get like more demons you can buff your Weavers with. I'm quite low on health, but for turn 6, having a 13-15 Weaver and a 12-14, since we played very curve efficient, is super, super, super good. So what's very important with this hero is evaluate your own strength and then play towards that. But that's generally an important thing in Battlegrounds. So here you just see me going ahead. We even win against that Reno, I'm not sure. Yeah, even though he high rolled a lot. And then I see a Gem Spitter. I don't pick it up. Usually Gem Spitter is very bad when Dragons and Elementals are out. You want to have at least 2 Divine Shield tribes in. Unless you high roll, or you already have like some good mechs. I mean, mechs always help a lot. Or you have like a tough task. So I just go ahead here and search for nice units. I see what you have to think about. Like, I very often just go with I go for the golden body on Mutanus because I'm very greedy and I'm trying to play as greedy as possible. I know that it can cost you a lot, but it can also gain you a lot. And especially when you play on high ranks, you want to go for max stats possible or play as greedy as possible. It's always you need to try to find the line, and the higher you get in MMR, the more important that's gonna get. So you see me also buying here, for example, units like Mechanotank, since you just want to go into survival mode till you find your golden buddy. So I just get him as well. It's also important, but you start eating these Wrath Weavers. So my argument here is basically I'm losing too much life from them, and I want to start giving them a chance to get the stats on my buddy. So what I do here is say, let's just try scamming, because if you have Knife Juggler and Tank on the board, you almost always survive till you get your golden buddy. So that's what I'm going for. And yeah, just get the max stats on the board again, get the Knife Juggler. I could have even gotten, instead of the Mark, that Quillbore. Would have probably been better, because then I could have just given the gem to my buddy. A little bit of a misstep. But on we go. We keep winning every fight because we have amazing stats for turn 7. Since Murlocs are out, we can't get poisoned away. And yeah, I just go into full juggly wuggle mode. I get the Matron. I go ahead spitting my big stat units. I try like spitting the biggest stat units, which is not affecting my scaling too much all the time. And I'm always trying to sell the units I never want to have a spit stats on, because if I get stats on the tank or on the juggler, I can just eat it later, it's fine, but at least they do something for my board at the moment. So I basically just go ahead, I will eat that Wrath Weaver, and yeah, it goes on the slime because I'm the freaking best. And this is basically our story of this game here. It's pretty straightforward now. You just try to survive, try to get your golden buddy, and then at some point, you need to start collecting good spit units, since our tempo is amazing this game. The thing is, like, what I'm basically doing here, I make the buddy my engine from the beginning of the game. I work towards him. And that makes things a whole lot easier when it comes to the end game. So you see my buddy meter is already pretty full. I will start buying units like Hydra now. I usually stay on Tavern 4 with this hero. It's the same with George. I will maybe make a guide about him later on. And I'm just trying to survive and get spits on and scam other people. Obviously, if you have high rolls or stuff like that, you can play differently. But yeah, I need to get good units here, and if you get like Hydras here, or modules, just Divine Shields and Cleaves, it's so amazing, guys. And you also triple the body, and you get a chance of the Foe Reaper here at some point. If you have questions to specific turns here, guys, just let me know. You can always pause the video and say, hey, JJ, on this and this turn, I would like now to know that. I will try to answer in the next video or just on your comment. So we go on here, the fights continue. We start also taking some damage, but our body is so big that usually we keep doing fine. Of course, you start taking damage, but even though the Jarax is high rolled like crazy for turn 9, like this board is crazy. We keep doing well, and since Murlocs are out, everything is a bit more stat-oriented. I faced the Ghost here. You can say that's a bit lucky. But also facing Jaraxxus before was not very fortunate, since we have usually a good setup. You see me start buying Hydras. You see me start buying Divine Shields. And we're preparing for a Golden Buddy turn here. Making him bigger and bigger. And once the buddy is golden, it has 45 stats, and you got the Cleaves, guys, the game is over. I mean, at least you have like, you have so many stats. I'm just gonna show you. So here we usually level up just to get a Foe Reaper going, to have an extra Cleave unit, which you also get, which is a bit fortunate, but also like level 6 or Tavern 6 units here are generally really good. As you see, I think it shows it here. Like we have like Mama, Foe Reaper, even Sapper can be good to disrupt your enemies. And you basically go ahead and you will just see the value here of your buddy. Try get everything online. Try to get the buffs in, like the gem on the buddy as well. And we have like 3 cleave units on the board and end on one big swing turn. And you also need to take that swing turn here. Like there's no way you're gonna greed even more. I'm also trying to get rid of units I don't want to spit on, as you can see here. Maybe squeeze some more stats. But as the board stands here, it seems pretty good. And then you see the swing. Just look at the body stats going everywhere. You can also like eat over the course of the game. This is insane, guys. If you have like 4, like they're also having so many stats. Here you just like cleave them into oblivion and you're the waggliest waggler in town. Hell yeah. I love this hero. This hero is a lot about efficiency. I really love this hero. And from here on, you just ride through the game. Try to not triple those cleaves, guys. Don't do it, please. It's usually debate in very many cases, but here you're just smooth sailing. Getting so much value out of those cleaves because also the poisonous units are not in, and having a hell of a lot of fun with those cleaves. We're cleaving and we're still breathing. Obviously, units like in the late game, like Selfless Heroes, are good here. And I think I don't need to drag that into length. I think I continue winning that game pretty decisively. And that's that about Mutanus. And I think that's everything I need to say. I will drop you the text file below, guys. I hope that video was somewhat insightful. If not, I hope you also got anything out of it. If it's just a propeller spin at the end, just a propeller spin. Enjoy the rest of your day. KW, guys.